Elfin Lied, Elfin Lied, I'm gonna call it what it looks like, is a very interesting anime. Elfin Lied is regarded by many to be a cult classic. I would regard it as one too, but not for its popularity. Yes, this anime is popular, which is absurd considering how incredibly mediocre it is. I mean, even I fell into this idea that it probably was really good without even giving it a shot. Listen, my first impression of this anime struck me like no other. When I was 11, I was on YouTube watching anime bullies get what they deserve like any normal person was at the time. And in one of the clips they showed, the bullies got a little more than what was deserved. Seeing this, my little kid brain was shocked, but so intrigued at how this could have possibly happened. I, of course, didn't know what pirating anime was, so I looked it up on YouTube and it was there. It was a different time on YouTube back in 2017. I start the first episode and titties. A neuron switched in my brain. This was the first time I've ever seen anything like this. I skimmed through the entire anime just looking for more scenes, and quite frankly, I was disappointed because most of the scenes with boobies had gore in them, or they were... yeah. I eventually got bored of skimming through episodes and decided to watch a proper show for me at that age, like My Hero and Naruto, but something changed in little me that day. Something snapped.
I didn't care anymore!
Years passed and I didn't think much of it. I just knew that one scene lived rent-free in my mind, and the opening for the show, which is filled with nudity, of course. Eventually, after seeing many people praise it, I decided I would watch it and give it a fair shot, and when watching Elfin Lied, I couldn't help but feel a little nostalgic about experiencing it. Even though I wasn't even alive when this anime came out, it has a style that is a mark from its time. The entire moe aesthetic. It takes this aesthetic and completely flips it on its head, putting cute anime girls into disgustingly gory scenarios. I guess this is the appeal for some people. The cute expectations people have when they see an anime character that looks like this being completely subverted when they watch the show. I was fooled by nostalgia and other people's opinions on the first time I watched it and gave it between a 7 and an 8. After the second watch, I realized I was being way too generous. This anime is trash.
You're trash, Brock.
How can people say this is a 10? How can people say the characters are deep? The themes are good? How? I mean, X, you know, XXX Tentacion of all people, has this as his favorite anime and manga. He had to go. With how much he likes it, I would have expected him to sample the opening on a song. I mean, it might have been a little difficult, but he literally sampled the seatbelt sound from his BMW. Now, speaking of the opening, I'd actually like to talk about it for a bit. It's the first theme the anime actually hits you with, and I will give credit where credit is due. The opening is a pretty great opening. Not the best from the year though, but it's something that lasts. Something incredibly, and I mean incredibly different than the type of opening that you are used to. There's titties in it, but it is artistic. There's actually beauty behind them portraying this character, Lucy, in this way. But this portrayal is specific. In fact, every single shot of a character in this opening is an allusion to a specific art piece by Gustav Klimt, an artist who is more commonly known today for his Art Nouveau art style, testing the limits of what was considered art at the time. Because this art style was controversial, many critics at the time would consider some of his work to just be pornographic and not art. Similarly, I think Elfin Lied is pornographic and not art. But this could possibly be the reason they chose to reference his pieces in the opening. He was testing societal norms, as was Elfin Lied. But the biggest difference between the two is that Klimt's pieces elicit emotion. They have something to say. They make you feel a certain way. But where Elfin Lied falls short is the incredible lack of substance. Klimt made his works for a reason. Elfin Lied was different for the love of the game. Now the actual song in the opening is called Lilium and is performed by Kumiko Noma. Her voice is beautiful and the instruments are too. I don't really know much I can say about it. The lyrics of the song are these, which roughly translates to this. Every one of these lines are shown visually throughout the opening. They are taken from biblical pieces and also even directly out of the Bible, which matches the sort of references that is already shown visually. The lyrics don't really mean all that much since each of the lines aren't connected, but I mean, it sounds good, so yeah. The melody also appears in the story, and I love it when openings have an in-world purpose in the anime that they come from. The Death Note ringtone, for example. Not gonna lie, I felt like I had to give an analysis of the opening because it's probably my favorite part of the show. Now the show, on the other hand, in a facility somewhere in Japan, people are dying. Is it a shooting? A freak accident? No, it's a woman. She's escaping, killing everyone that stands in her path, including clumsy anime girls that do nothing but make silly mistakes. Bullets don't seem to work on her, and even knowing this, every single guard wastes all their ammo shooting at her. She continues her killing spree, but decides to spare one person before making her escape. Why did she spare him? What relationship could these two have? I'm asking you because it's never explained. For that reason, he has the most plot armor I've ever seen in anime. As Lucy is making her escape, a sniper gets the easiest headshot of his life and decides to wait for her to turn. He shoots and the bullet hits, causing her mask to fracture and fall off the cliff below. The setting shifts and who would have guessed it, the story takes place in Japan, a city on the coast. And here's our main character Koda, who just reunited with his cousin, Yuka, for the first time in 8 years. To celebrate, they go to the beach and notice an indecently exposed woman in front of them. She seems to be autistic, so they of course kidnap her and take her to this mansion, which Yuka gives him for free because he needs somewhere to stay. This girl they picked up seems to not know anything. She doesn't know how to use the restroom, doesn't know how to eat, and only says "new." She says this about 1,000 times in this anime and gets branded with that as her name.
New seems like a good name.
Knew this, knew that. It's like the third worst thing about this anime, behind the nude kids and, gory nude kids. When they are sitting after dinner, Koda reminisces about the time his sister gave him a shell shortly before she died. New sees how much this means to him and destroys it. What the fuck, New? Get out of here!
She understood. She knew the seashell made you sad.
Huh?
What kind of logic is that? Niu ran away to the beach, and Koda follows her, trying to apologize for yelling, when a soldier attacks him. Hey, they gave us the green light to kill any witnesses, right? No. What? Did you say kill?
Isn't it obvious, dumbass? The word kill means I pull the trigger. The gun goes off, and your brains splatter all over the sand. The beach gets bloody, and you get dead.
Oh my gosh, he sounds like Frank Horrigan.
You're not a hero. You're just a walking corpse.
He kicks him in the balls and drags Niu somewhere to kill her, wanting a legendary duel cause she's the strongest. But after beating her up a bit, he gets bored and tells the guy under him to take the killing shot, which doesn't make sense for this guy cause in the last episode, he was just talking about how much he wants to kill and how he hates women. But yeah, Niu turns into Lucy, like Naruto tapping into the Nine Tails, and begins to fight the soldier. Wait, she has a range of 2 meters and can also throw objects at you? Ha! 2-meter long invisible hands. How the fuck is that your train of thought? His sneak attack fails cause he chickens out, which gets him into a position he ends up 3 times in the story. She toys with him like a kid playing with their food, when she remembers she has a hand and snaps back to her other personality. This is her character trait. Whenever she hits her head, she enters mode and has a cooldown until she turns back into base form Niu. It's comical the way she hits her head, but more comical than that is the fan service she always ends up getting into. After Koda gets discharged from the hospital because of the kick to the balls he got, he returns to see Niu at the front door of the estate. Wow, Niu, your clothes are pretty wet, and since you're autistic, I guess I have to take your clothes off for you.
There! No. Look, it's not what you think. Niu's clothes were wet, and she can't change herself. So, you see...
It's almost as if his cousin is jealous of Niu. This is what we call foreshadowing. There's also this homeless girl, her name is Mayu. You don't really gotta care about her. All you need to know is her stepdad did something to her, and her mother victim blames her. What a stupid bitch. Niu is tasked with cleaning the house, and of course, slips, turning into Niusi. Holy shit, she's gonna kill them all. What was that? Lucy leaves to give Koda and his cousin some time alone.
Hey, Koda,
Yeah, what is it?
do you think about touching my breasts too?
What? The evil scientists from before, they think, well, why don't we just fight fire with fire and send one of Lucy's own species after her? Lucy, of course, dismembers her and leaves her to bleed out. Life goes on in the Kaide household, and they, for some reason, adopt the homeless girl. Eventually, Koda remembers he's in town for college and attends his first lecture. The professor knows New? What? The only time Koda goes to class is to progress the plot? And spoiler alert, he never attends another class. The professor makes it very clear to Koda that what he did is called kidnapping, and tells them that he knows Lucy's father and will return her to her family. This strikes Koda's heart, and for some reason he thinks the professor is suspicious for making a valid point. This makes no sense. He explained how you literally made every wrong action with Lucy and had no reason to doubt his words. But who would have guessed it, his suspicion was correct. But what's this? The professor has horns on his head. It seems he's the same species as Lucy, a male Diclonius. He tried to, rape her before she killed him. This anime loves to do this. Find in any situation to just take off the character's clothes and just do strange things to them. Like there will be casual conversations going on and then someone will randomly appear fully naked. It makes this anime almost unwatchable. But you want to know what actually makes this anime unwatchable? The incest kissing scene. I don't know why this is such a popular trope in anime. Like whenever there are two siblings in a show together, something weird between them always happens. After the kiss scene, they end up finding Lucy, who says she remembers everything, then 2 seconds later forgets everything. Again. On the other side of the island, the director from earlier disobeyed orders and patched up Nana, the Diclonius Lucy fought. She encounters someone on the beach and they fight when she forgets her pacifist ideology for a second. Then they both realize, wait, you hate Lucy too? And become friends. Nana, who is brand new to society, doesn't understand money and stays the night out in the graveyard where she fought Lucy. And what are the odds? The homeless girl who witnessed their fight runs into her. She has a brilliant idea to bring the girl she saw fighting to the death with New to her.
Koda!
Well, now you just seem like an asshole.
Don't you dare hit me!
You see, in this world, getting hit causes sicknesses, and sicknesses cause flashbacks. Lucy was just like every other person at the orphanage, except she wasn't because of her horns, so she gets bullied for being weird. The only person she could call her friend for some time was a little puppy that lived a walk away from the orphanage. One day, when getting picked on, someone stands up for her. Lucy, hesitant of course, doesn't want to be friends, but after a night's sleep, she seems fine telling her about the dog. But keep quiet, don't tell anyone about the dog. Hey, we found your dog. Shit. Now, these guys are just comically evil. They're like Berserk side villains. They give her two options. 1, cry and start begging, or 2, have the puppy do the crying for you. She gives him a third option, so they just kill the dog. The friend from earlier comes in asking why they went that far.
I didn't mean to tell them. It just slipped.
You know who isn't human? You know who isn't human? People like you!
So that just happened. This scene is great, animation-wise. Partly. The way the blood splatters onto the yellow wall is just completely horrifying. Don't go calling me Dexter, but the attention to detail in this little snippet was done pretty well. Not only does it contrast colors, but it also contrasts the animation inconsistencies that are flooded in this anime. I mean, literally earlier in the scene, the bullies just teleport into frame. Teleporting actually seems to happen quite a lot in this anime. Even in the scene directly after this, when Lucy and Koda meet for the first time, he is shown far in one shot and close a shot later. There's a weirdly long pause, which happens a lot in this anime. Then Koda mentions Lucy's horns. You know, I got a question. Every single time someone notices Lucy, it's always, ooh, look at your horns. What about her pink hair? If anything, that's more distinguishing than a pair of horns on the top of her head. But it's anime. Anime characters have colored hair. Yeah, but in this anime, everyone has a normal hair color, which makes it more ridiculous that nobody notices it. Anyways, he thinks the horns are cool, so they become friends and get pretty close. Although, this doesn't change Lucy from killing random people. Well, I guess she's actually unnamed here and only referred to as that girl. So that girl and Koda bond over things like the zoo, the opening to the show, and being naked. Ugh. until Koda tells her he is going away tomorrow and he is going to a festival with his cousin before he leaves.
Coda, is your cousin a girl?
No.
Okay.
No!
Stop being dumb. People can see us.
For so long.
Hey, come on now. Don't cry.
You fucking liar. That girl becomes schizo over thinking Koda is incest and just starts killing people. Koda and his family think that there's a bomb in the area or something, so they decide they should head back home as soon as possible and leave his cousin to go back home completely alone in this perilous situation. Somehow Lucy made it onto the train, and due to Koda lying to her, she kills his family. All he can do is beg her to stop. I'm guessing shortly after this, Lucy got abducted, and Koda spent a year in the hospital due to his trauma. In between there and the present, the man who would become the director is shown doing cruel things to Diclonius, until one breaks out and nearly kills him. Okay, what I said earlier as a joke is actually right, because they got hit, and that's how the Diclonius disease spreads. Through their children. Now Kurama, when he realized his daughter had horns, he didn't kill her and instead kept her alive to have the facility do their experiments on her. Because, as stated, if Diclonius grow up, they will kill all humans they meet, starting with their parents. The show contradicts this statement before it's even made. So the facility uses this third generation Diclonius to track down and capture Lucy, which should be pretty easy since she has much longer and greater number of vectors than her. She also has a dark passenger, and it's just to kill everyone. Kill him, kill her. She's fucking emo. And since she can sense other Diclonius, she's a real threat. Nana ends up joining their little family. Too bad the family is rooted in incest, but they get along quite well, until New gets upset for some reason and tries to kill herself. But this is suicide bait, and she cuts her hair. Nana realizes she wants attention too, so she starts tweaking, talking about a violent one approaching. She confronts them trying to play hero, and it goes how you would expect it to. Koda hears about what she is doing from Mayu, and for no reason at all, New follows him. When he gets down there, it's just about when Nana and number 35's fight is ending. Unfortunately, I can't even show how it ends because it's nothing but nudity. New follows shortly after, and who would have guessed, she slips and hits her head for the 30th time in the series. Koda tries to make a break for it with New, and the army just unloads all of their weapons onto them. I'm guessing they forgot to watch the first episode, cause Lucy's immune to that shit. She instantly begins killing people, which causes Koda to remember a past that he had hid away. She kills everyone, and at the pinnacle of her murderous rampage, he realizes this is her, the girl from 8 years ago. He saves her from getting shot by the psychopath, and she leaves, telling him to meet her at the stairs. Lucy makes quick work of the psychopath and spares him for no reason at all, again, then goes to fight number 35 who escaped earlier. She thinks this fight would just be like the other kids she killed, but this one quickly overpowers her. Although 35 can't kill her, if she fails that mission, the bomb inside her will explode. Lucy, on the other hand, is actively trying to murder her. So tell me why, when she's being all sneaky and shit in this fight, instead of killing her, she just knocks her wheelchair over. You can't make this up. Lucy tells her that she won't make her suffer. Then 35 starts tweaking. She begins to say that, wait a fucking minute. Is that 2 left hands? Am I seeing this right? The animation is a 10. 35 beats the hell out of Lucy and knocks her unconscious. Then her father shows up with Nana to try and stop her. With how heartless she was built up to be, you'd expect her not to care about this guy being her parent or not, but I guess she's no longer evil and loves her dad? Whatever, they kill themselves. Lucy manages to escape and meets with Koda on the stairs, where she tells him her plans for world domination. Koda was the only person she cared about, so she apologizes for what she did to him and walks away. But Koda begs her to stop killing, telling her how he loves her. They share a kiss, and everything built up to this moment. Kinda sucks Koda still has his heart for his cousin. All their memories flash before their eyes as Lucy's tears parallel the opening, and she leaves to go fight off the remaining soldiers. Everyone's lives go on in their little incest house, but they're missing something. They're missing New, the family pet. When Koda hears the dog barking and notices a silhouette, when he approaches it, the music box stops playing and the clock strikes for the first time in years. The end. Now, I feel I'm too washed to give a proper analysis since I've been gone for so long, so I'll let the next generation do it for me.
There will never be another anime like Elfen Lied. When you see a review like this, and then see the final rating of 10 out of 10, you'll probably go into the anime expecting it to be that good. I mean, 10 out of 10? A full 5 stars?
Officer, entirely necessary? Yes, it is. Get up.
It's got higher ratings than movies coming out recently. And with the other reviews saying that it's the best anime ever, the most beautiful anime of all time, and saying that they give it an 11 out of 10 if they could, it would only make sense to approach the anime hoping that it would be incredible. But if I had to be totally honest, they're wrong. Elfen Lied really isn't all that, and it's really just a mediocre anime that's extremely surface level. But let me start with this. Elfen Lied does a good job of introducing ideas that have depth. We have the moral question with the government experimenting on children for things that they couldn't control, the topic of what it means to love versus just caring for one another, the idea of trauma, as well as showing the bad nature humans can have and how it affects and changes others. This is all brought up in the plot as the anime goes on, but when it comes to actually executing these topics, that's where Elfen Lied falls short. For example, the whole ethical question of the situation on experimenting on the Diclonia's children, a way to show the depth could have been to maybe have the people working in these facilities question the morality of the actions and sacrifices that they're having to take to supposedly save mankind. Maybe we get conversations in between the staff on if what they're doing really constitutes as a sacrifice for the greater good, because they really are doing some questionable things. But none of that actually happens. In all 13 episodes, of everyone that's in the facility and knows what's happening with the Diclonia's children, the only person to realize that what they're doing is wrong is Chief Kurama, because his daughter ends up also being a Diclonius. It just seems unrealistic and is honestly just cartoonish. Realistically, there would have to be a good amount of people that aren't okay with doing this to children, even if they are that dangerous. Maybe there's a small rebellion happening, something that shows that everyone isn't just mindless and the facility isn't just full of background NPCs.
Hello, sir.
Another big theme that the anime portrays is the importance of family and the effect that it has on people. Pretty much every character except for Yuka has their very own One Piece backstory with a traumatic upbringing and never being able to experience the true warmth of a family. For example, Nana and Lucy are stuck in the facility and are pretty much being tortured throughout most of their lives, which is why they come across the way that they do. It shows that the violent nature that they have may just come from the way that they are treated by the government. Another character, Mayu, ends up running away from her home and becoming homeless due to her father being a terrible person, and after hanging around a dog that she stumbled across, also ends up at the Kaida house with Koda and Yuka. The characters even refer to the relationship around the home as familial, and that Yuka and Koda feel like mother and father to everyone else. The Kaida house kind of exists as a place for lost souls to go, and to create a relationship with a family that does care for them. It has a heartwarming feel, and is represented well throughout the plot. This actually sounds and works well. Wait. What?
No. Wait. Hey. Wait. Wait. No!
Yeah. This whole theme of family almost makes you forget about the fact that Yuka and Koda are literally related. Why even make this whole case about family in the plot if it's just going to be disregarded with the main relationship in the show? This could have just been removed and the whole plot point wouldn't have suffered for this, but instead, this is just stupid. The biggest issue, though, is the entire point of showing Lucy's backstory. Lucy, whose real name is Kaede at that point in time, is having an extremely rough childhood. She lives at the orphanage, she gets bullied and made fun of, and even though the caretakers clearly know why she's getting treated like this, they do nothing about it and let Lucy build up this hatred inside of her. She feels everyone judges her for something that she can't control, which is why she becomes best friends with a dog, because it treats her normally, I guess. And when she tells a classmate about it, in the span of like 5 minutes, the bullies are just beating up the dog in front of her, and when they end up killing it, she uses her vectors to kill all of the bullies. Yep. That's it. From the beginning, we've been told over and over that the Diclonians exist to get rid of the human race, and when they actually try to explain that the Diclonians are not inherently bad, instead of being a realistic depiction of the terrible things that can happen to people, not only does it just come across as unrealistic, but instead of having some type of depth and emotion, her biggest problem comes from a bunch of super evil 8-year-olds straight up killing her dog. Anyways, this ends up manifesting Kaede's very own
Tyler Durden
personality, Lucy, and then later New, which would be Kaede's innocence, splitting her up into 3 parts to describe one different part of Kaede's character. Lucy is supposed to represent her hatred and bad feeling towards mankind because of the way that she was treated as a kid, and New is supposed to represent the innocence that Kaede had before she was bullied and created the Lucy persona. But in reality, Lucy just ends up being an excuse for Elfen Light to show people dying, and you for some not very funny fan service scenes. It just seems that the whole point that's been referenced to over and over throughout the show, that the Diclonius are not actually all that bad and are just victims of circumstance and being treated differently for things that they can't control. Not only is it not relatable at all because the bullies and people around her have zero humanity for no reason, but that the topic of mental health is just brushed aside. To show depth would have been to actually see the implications that these things cause onto people and their mental state and the effects bullying has on someone's personality. But instead, Elfen Light just has Lucy go insane and become a serial murderer just because she was bullied as a kid. She kills not only the people that made fun of her, but also just random people living and minding their own business because I guess she hates all of humanity now. The plot ends up showing her relationship with the main character Coda, how she ended up falling in love with him as he was the only person to treat her normally, and they go off having fun together. She asks about the gender of his cousin, he lies to her, and then she gets all angry about it when she finds out that Yuka is a girl, and then starts killing everybody. Again. This anime is really obsessed with that. Then, when he ends up going on the train to go home, and she gets on the train to then kill his family, because, you know, that's the most reasonable next step, when Coda lashes out at her, she realizes he never meant to hurt her, and while he gets traumatized, she gets picked up by the government and then locked up how she was at the beginning. Then, the flashback to the present, and after like a 5-minute conversation, Lucy and Niu reunite as Kaede, and Coda kisses her. Seriously? This is the girl that killed your family because she couldn't take you having a family member that's female. This is the same girl that put you in the hospital for like a year because you were so traumatized about how your sister was taken away from you. It's mentioned in one line of dialogue, and then they just act like it's all okay because she acted cute to them or something. It just doesn't make any sense. And then the ending has her like reincarnate after she gets shot off screen, and she shows up back at their home in a silhouette. I think this is supposed to symbolize some type of lack of closure, like how Lucy's life had no closure, and then her respawning is supposed to be her moving on. I'm saying I think, as I'm probably wrong, because it's an ambiguous ending left to our interpretation. There's nothing wrong with ambiguous endings, but when it ends up having hardly any emotional buildup and is just ambiguous for the sake of being different, it just comes across as off. The point that I'm trying to make, that I'm sure you understand by now, is that Elfen Light had the foundations for quality work. It introduces and has ideas that could have been so much more had they been executed correctly, but instead of tackling these topics carefully, it just ends up coming across as extremely unrealistic. To sum it up, Elfen Light had something that it wanted to say. It just didn't know how to say it.
That analysis was actually pretty good. Probably better than what I could have given, although I think it's missing something.
Yeah, I didn't talk about the manga.
I haven't read the manga. Yield, have you read the manga?
No, I haven't read the manga.
Well, who has read the manga?
Niche internet micro-celebrity known for making videos about Diddy Media has asked me to talk about Elfen Lied manga. This had to be part of his plan for me to end up on some kind of watch list, because this manga is just gore of barely legals. Despite this, let's take a look at it from an objective point of view. The anime and manga are pretty different. The anime covers around half of what is covered in the manga, and this has resulted in a lot of important information being omitted from the show. Not that it really matters though. The story itself feels rushed and relies on a lot of cliches, and it's rather predictable. While it may feel like the mangaka, Lin Okamoto, had a writing style that seemed like he just made stuff up as he went along. He revealed on his blog that his editor kinda screwed him over. Apparently the editor was the one who pushed Okamoto to add the gore, add random Diclonius fights, and add characters, and add fake-outs. While it may appear that the editor is responsible for this manga being lousy, Okamoto is definitely not blameless, as the excessive fan service, incest, terrible pacing, and poor art are all on him. Similarly, the characters are incredibly bland. The protagonist, Kota, is straight up one-dimensional, and his cousin Yuka's only character trait is that she's in love with him. Pretty much all of the side characters are forgettable and one-dimensional as well. They lack proper motivations and have poorly thought out backstories. The ending is different in the manga, but it also sucks. Lucy saves Kota and his group, and then she has Kota kill her. Years later, Kota marries his cousin, and Lucy comes back as a reincarnation. It's just terrible writing. One of the most interesting differences between the manga and the anime involves the character Nozomi. This is a manga-only character whose single trait is having a good singing voice. Because of this, she was replaced by a music box in the show. The song that Nozomi sings in the manga is Elfen Lied, a musical adaptation of a classic German poem. The English translation of the poem reads as follows. At night in the village, the watchman cried, "Elf." A very small elf was asleep in the wood, just at 11, and he thinks that the night and— Dude, Google exists. Just look this up on your own. It's really not that important. It's pretty apparent that the manga is a reflection of this poem. The Diclonius are like the elf, creatures trying to belong in the human world. The elf looks through the building's windows, observing the humans enjoying their lives. While doing this, he hits his head, being punished for trying to fit in. You can kinda stretch this to relate to Lucy trying to fit into the human world, and ultimately failing, with Coda killing her in the end. I mean, there's a whole head hitting thing too. I don't know. The thing that blows my mind the most about Elfen Lied is the praise it gets. The top review on Mal praises the manga, stating that it is the cruelest, goriest, and highly perverted piece of work ever. This baffles me, as the alleged cruelty is emotionless. A lack of depth in the manga makes a gore less impactful and meaningless. The gore isn't depicted in a way that's meant to show the horrors of violence, but instead in a way that's meant to be erotic. Anyway, the reviewer goes on to praise the plot. It covers a wide variety of themes in great detail, ranging from simple love triangle relationship to the ever more common child abuse, to the horrid reality of non-ethical scientific research, to the threat of global terrorism, and lastly on human origin and our mutation evolution. Alright, let's tackle each one of these one by one. Love triangles between a one-dimensional guy who drifts through life, his cousin, and Lucy. Spoiler alert, the cousins have a kid together. It's a lot of depth there. The child abuse explored in this story feels like an excuse, just to show children in perilous situations. Sexualizing victims undermines the message the author was going for. I do actually get the non-ethical scientific research theme, and Yield explained that more in his part. 1 point for Okamoto. The terrorism one is pretty stupid. The reviewer just pulled this one out of thin air. I mean, Lucy doesn't go after a specific group, entity, or whatever, it's just people. And it's not like she's trying to instill fear in them, she's just trying to wipe them out. Finally, the human origin theme doesn't make any sense at all. In the manga, it's explained that Dicloni come from a virus. This guy was just making stuff up. This is just one of the many examples of Elfen Lied praise. It's like a hive mind that'll put their lives on the line to sweep for the story. There's countless YouTube videos, forum posts, and reviews, all hyping up this mediocre gore porn manga. It's shameful. Overall, this manga is terrible, ugly, and boring.
Elfen Lied is bad. Dare I say garbage? Nah, there are some good moments in it, but I hope that you can understand that it isn't what some people try to say it is. If you liked it, come on. But honestly, I hope it's clear to anyone watching that Elfen Lied really is nothing but glorified nostalgia. Anyways, that's the video. Next vid is gonna come out soon. Sorry I've been gone for a while. This is the year of Might Kill, trust me. But yeah, Elfen Lied is trash. Read Isogui, stay humble, and subscribe.